Hello, Stacey. So, are you leaving Evernote?
Well, it seems a fair question, but I don't have any plans to leave Evernote now.
Neither do
How
I.
about you?
No, no way. I have no plans for that. Okay, for those that are living under a rock, what's happening, Stacey?
Well, I am glad we're here talking about this, but it was announced that Evernote has been acquired by a company called Bending
Mhm.
Spoons. So they have a new ownership, and that has created a lot of discussion and a lot of questions and a lot of uncertainty in the app space for our beloved Evernote. I think it's worth discussing first that like neither of us work for Evernote, right? So
Yeah.
we are not privileged to details that are, that really drove the deal. We don't really know, and we don't
Mhm.
really know what is going to happen, right? So I think that's fair
Yes.
to say. But both of us have been with Evernote since the first CEO and since the company started, and have a long history with the app and have a high level of trust with Evernote and the current
Mhm.
leadership. And we've received and we scrutinize the information that comes at us and have a pretty informed opinion, hopefully, about what's going to happen, just based on our own experience. And even
Mhm.
though the truth is we probably don't know much more than, or we don't know what an
We
employee
don't
might
know.
know or what the
Yeah.
leadership team
Mhm.
knows.
Yeah. We know what is in the blog post, right? And all the research we did. You did a very good, beautiful research about all of this company and the apps. I loved your research. And we are using Evernote. We created a shared notebook and we put a lot of information inside this notebook before sitting down together to talk about it. I think the main concern people are having is about privacy, data, and what do you think about that?
Well, the information we've been given explicitly, it's stated in Ian's post, and has been
Mhm.
reiterated. We did get an email as Evernote certified experts, right, to
Mhm.
us notifying us of this transition. Um,
Mhm.
and it was reiterated there that the privacy policy stays the same. There's no plans. I think, what was that, the wording? I don't know.
Yeah.
There's no intention to change the
Mhm. Mhm.
privacy policy, which for me is a key reason I ever chose Evernote in the first place. So at this
Mhm.
point, I believe them, and I don't see it benefiting them to change it. They may, I don't really know, but it seems like everything until they show me otherwise. The expectation is that the data policy is the same. And that is the three laws of data protection, which is your data is yours, your data is uh,
Your data
exportable
is yours. Your data is portable, and
and protected. It's important because if you think about it, comparing it to like Gmail, which is indexing all of your
Mhm.
email that comes in and dishing out ads, right? It's that's a subscription model based on data mining of your data. And
Mhm.
Evernote is explicitly different than that. They are a
Yes.
subscription model where they want you to pay for a service that you love, and they are not data mining and dishing out ads, to make revenue. And that's a core reason I ever chose Evernote in the first place.
Yes.
And every expectation is that that will hold. If that changes, then we'll evaluate it then.
Yeah, they don't make money with our data, they make money with our subscription. I think this is a big difference when we compare Evernote to social media, for example, or like you said, Gmail, or many Google services that make money using our data. So I think that's an important point. Another important point is the company is from Italy. It's from here, Europe, that we have the GDPR. I don't know. We don't know what's going to happen. The data may stay in the United States or it may come here. We don't know. But I think in any of those conditions, the situation is really good. If it stays there, we have all we had until now. If it comes here, we will also be covered by GDPR. That is a very it's a big deal. It's not something that people don't pay attention to. On the contrary, they pay a lot of attention to this, to the GDPR. To be honest, I don't understand why a lot of people is leaving. I can't
Well,
understand that.
I think here's my take on this. I think when this kind of news hits, the very first thing people ask, I asked it too, are they killing the app? Are they going to keep it? Are they going to parse it out and buy it for parts and pieces, or are they
Mhm.
going to take it as is and build and evolve upon it? And the truth is, all of those things are possibilities, but they have explicitly stated in the public communication that they did not buy it to kill it. They want to make it an ongoing entity. They have plenty of things that support that. They don't have a competitor in-house. I mean, this would be a very different conversation if Microsoft had
Mhm.
purchased
Mhm.
the app, right?
Sure.
Or
Yes.
Google,
Good
right?
point. Good point. Very good point.
Very different conversation. So, like, that would be a flag. We don't have a flag there. It seems to be a very complementary kind of app to what the company does. It seems like their skills could very much enhance what Evernote does. And Evernote also brings a user base that could really, improve upon what they have there. So it seems very synergistic.
Mhm.
And so I don't fall into, and mostly because they said they're not going to kill it, in
Mhm.
in so many words. Like, I'm believing them at this point. And I also think that a lot of people, I want to make this point too, is like, you can move apps. I mean, your data policy is going to let you take your data and go somewhere else. There's lots of people that want Evernote users, but why wouldn't you just wait and see? Like, wait and
Yes.
see, because you can do it at any time.
Yes.
And one of the things you and I both coach is that app switching is what's killing your productivity, not
Mhm.
not the app, right? Like, this is could be very disruptive and time
Mhm.
consuming to switch apps when there's really no need to. Like, I mean, again, I'm hypothesizing here, but say they were to change the data policy, they'd probably give you a heads up about
Sure.
it, right? It's
Yeah.
like, and then
They
it's
they
kind of like,
will
what's the
they
rush?
will at least need to change the terms and services. Also, maybe it's just a small portion of people doing a lot of noise. Maybe that's also the case because I also receive a lot of good feedback. I'm reading also good feedback about the acquisition. And talking about this, another point that people are bringing is that they don't see any synergy between the apps that the bending spoons have and Evernote. But you had a great point. Better that there is no OneNote, there is no Google Keep, there is no other app to create a conflict there. So I think I didn't think about that. It's a good point. It's a great point that you brought.
It's also a possibility that they want to acquire this and maybe they want to dazzle us as users. It's like, it's also possible that this could be a really good thing.
Yeah.
There's a whole range of options, but everybody's jumping to, like, jump ship right away, or
Yes.
at least that feels like the tone that people are most inclined to do. And I would ask why,
Mhm.
and I'd ask people who are serious users to think about it. Like, nothing has changed. They've said nothing is changing.
Mhm.
Now we'll keep watching. we'll inform them if it does. But what is, like, I don't understand why people just, like, don't trust.
Mhm.
I mean, I guess it's the way the world is
Yeah.
these days, right?
Yes.
But it's one of the things, like, I still trust Ian, right?
Mhm.
Ian has been, and he is still the leader at this point of Evernote. And he is saying that this is what they've done
Yes. And he's been
and what's going to happen.
transparent all the time since the very beginning with everything. He's telling everything. He never hid anything. He was just he. They say that he is too transparent.
I mean, but it's been great, and Evernote has made dramatic changes in the last 2 years and
Mhm.
built something that people are really loving. So that's exciting. And if you start, I mean, switching gears, if you start to research bending spoons, which personally I hadn't heard of until this happened,
Yeah.
it's pretty exciting. Like, I think they're an exciting company. They
Yes.
get
Yeah.
very enthusiastic. They have a beautiful website. They are clearly professional at what they do. They do it very well. They attract and retain top talent, which is essential. I mean, Evernote's made strong regards in that too. You probably saw Evernote was, had some United States HR awards recently, and
Mhm.
they're all over the Bending Spoons website. There's clearly a value on people and the
Mhm.
talent that they retain. So, like, all that feels like good, or
Yes, it
even
does.
or even possible, a painting possibility, really.
Yeah,
It
and,
seems.
and, and possibility, in my opinion, is the AI because they
Mhm.
have a lot of AI there. They're all
Well, that's the thing. I mean, people might look at the surface of their website and say, "Oh, they're an app company," but they're really an AI company,
yes.
which that I mean, let's talk about that. You and I know from back in the day when Evernote was doing conferences that there was discussion about AI and Evernote even then, right?
Mhm.
So it's always been something that Evernote's been forward thinking about. I'm not an AI expert. I don't know exactly what this means for the what the technology is going to do to the app. But I do know that things like our predictive search are a
Yes.
result of some of these machine learning and these technologies
Mhm.
that are continuing to evolve. And Bending Spoons is explicitly interested in AI. I mean, what's your take
I
on
don't know
that?
if you remember that before we changed to the new plans, we had on the premium plan a feature called context. It would
Yeah,
show below the notes related notes to the one we were working on, and it would also have connection with some apps, LinkedIn for example, and some blogs, and it would show some articles. And I use that all the time. It's kind of an AI. I was in a meeting, I was taking a note and writing the name of the person, and suddenly I would see a little card down below the note that was the person's LinkedIn profile, and I would click there. Oh, now I know more about this person. This is good. This makes us better. This makes the notes better. When we are talking about AI, there's crazy things that can be done with AI, but there are also these small things that are very, very, very helpful, like
yeah.
suggesting words. I'm not a native speaker. I love those apps that suggest don't use this word, use that one.
Ian discussed this in his blog post. Real time editing is coming,
Yes,
collaborative editing,
yes.
much
Mhm,
like Google Docs, right? And
mhm.
so we can you imagine talking with people? Evernote's an international audience, talking with people in different languages,
And
and like what is
translating.
possible with that. Plus, I get asked this all the time. It's been asked ever since Evernote started, but like, will Evernote ever transcribe my audio on the fly? Like, something like that's possible with AI, right? So
Yes.
there's things that people want that could really be useful within the app, and Bending Spoon seems ready to get the right company to do that
Yeah.
kind of thing. I guess you could say. I
And,
also love their focus that they are a mobile app company. Um, so many people use Evernote on their phone and get introduced to Evernote from their phone. So to have that experience, I'm excited to see kind of what happens to the mobile app as a result of this acquisition as well.
yes, I think that's a good point too. The fact that they are mobile first, it's gonna be good. I don't believe they are gonna end working on the desktop app. It's such an important app. Imagine all the possibilities of a mobile app.
I think the possibility of AI in Evernote is more about it's going to help us to surface what we seek at the right
Mhm.
time. When we want it, when we want it. And
Yes,
and
yes,
that's, if we put it in Evernote, are we going to be able to locate it? It's always about focus, right? It's always about finding what we're looking for. And AI has the possibility. That's where I see it helping our productivity, helping Evernote's such more than a note-taking app. It's a
yeah.
productivity app. And I want to be able to have things appear that I'm looking for, the thing you're missing that you had a hard time finding, and context helps you to locate it, right? Those kinds of things are what we want to see more and more.
Yeah, our knowledge, maybe I don't know, maybe someday we would be able to ask something to Evernote, and Evernote would gather all the information it has that we put it there and say, okay, based on this, you think that this and
Well, that'd be
that.
kind of cool. Well,
Yeah,
and not only think about we didn't talk about this, but the possibility with tasks, right? And what could happen with all of that. Super interesting as well.
yeah. I
So
think
I
there's,
don't know.
yeah, I think it's there's so many possibilities, so good possibilities. And one thing that I think Evernote is has been doing from the very beginning is nothing is opt out. Everything is opt in. I don't have to use Evernote Home if I don't want to. I don't have to use Evernote Tasks if I don't want to. I don't have to use Evernote Calendar if I don't want to. If I want to use it just as a note taking app, I can do that. Nothing is opt out. I don't want to use this. I have to opt in. I have to choose. The only exception here was home because we couldn't select it to start on the note, but we can do
Now
it
we can.
now. Now we can not start on home. I start on home. I prefer to do that. But why would anything that is related to AI would also be would not be opt in. It's there. We use it, or if we don't want to, we don't use it. It's like that AI on Gmail, we don't have to use that if we don't want to use it. So, I, yeah, these complaints about features I never got because people also say, oh, Evernote now is not a note-taking app anymore. Well, just don't use the other features. You don't have
Right.
to.
Right.
They are there. They may help you, but you don't have to use them.
That's a very good point. It's a really
Yeah,
good point. And
yeah.
it's just, I think the key point to keep in mind is to that. It's like there's an array of ways to use Evernote, as you're making the point. And then there's all kinds of options that are going to, time will tell with this acquisition. And I don't know why people are jumping to the worst case scenario, especially when it's not what's being discussed, you know?
Mhm,
So you can always leave. You can always end your subscription. You can always
mhm,
export your data.
mhm,
Just maybe pay attention to if they make that announcement. I mean, follow the
mhm.
YouTube channel here. You'll be sure to
Yeah.
tell people, right? Um, and I keep my customers up to date as well. So it's kind of like, just there's possibility here.
Yes.
And I think that you and I, the more days that pass, and this is still very fresh news, but
Mhm.
I don't, I just don't innately feel negative about this. It's transition and it's uncertainty. And I'm grateful for what Evernote and leadership team and the team members that we deal with there. I hope that, as many that can continue to be part of this experience for us as possible. And I don't have
Mhm.
control over that, but that's really, those are worries that don't have to do with if the app is going to be an ongoing entity that's going to continue to support the productivity. I have a lot of gratitude
Yes.
for what's happened. And I think that there's a lot of good stuff that I can't even envision that could come out of this. So
Yeah,
that's where I feel about it.
I'm excited, and to be honest, when we start building that notebook together about bending spoons, I was getting more excited. We were researching and looking and sharing information with one another, and I was getting more and more excited of all the possibilities. And I'm excited with all the possibilities that
Well,
we
let's go
see.
to Milan.
Yeah, let's go to Milan. I'm already close by,
I'll
just
come
waiting
over.
for
Let's
you.
go say hi. Let's go meet the team. We're just waiting for our invitation, or maybe we'll just knock on
Okay.
the door, huh?
Yes,
Okay.
let's do that. So you're not leaving. You're not leaving Evernote.
No, not yet. Mm-mm.
No,
No plans.
neither me. I'm staying.
Yeah, it's all good.
Okay. Anything else, Stacy?
No, I mean, we're good. Time will tell. But right
Yes.
now, there's no flags
Yes.
other than the uncertainty of a transition, which of course introduces new elements. But everything we're getting. If you watch the details, if you watch Luca, the CEO, Luca Ferrari on YouTube, he there's some inspiring things happening there.
Sure. Yeah.
And this appears to be a thoughtful choice. So I'm
Mhm.
optimistic that it's going to be good for all of us users over time.
It will. Okay. Thank you. Let's see what's going to happen
Let's
next.
see. Well, we can revisit this in 6 months and
Sure. Let's do
see if we were
it.
right. But it's like, don't like, why put yourself through the stress of jumping
Yeah,
apps when you
I
don't
don't
need
understand. I
to?
don't understand that, but
It
each
doesn't feel the
person,
right time yet. Like,
yeah,
we'll put up the flag if it
yeah.
is. How about
Yeah,
that?
but I respect everyone's decision, but I don't see the reason to do
Yeah, I agree.
that. Okay, thank you.
My
Bye
pleasure. Thanks
bye.
for having me.